Hello, hello. Guess who's back? So, this is as you know, our second and last Q&A before the game's launch. Today, we will focus on dynamic weather, flag to flag, and online, but of course, every other question is welcome. We have little less time than the first Q&A, so I won't waste it, and I welcome our guests, who were the same as the first time. Let me introduce you Michele Caletti, executive producer and creative director, and Stefano Zanaboni, lead game designer of the game. Welcome, guys. I read I read a lot of questions about the dynamic weather from various users like KG, Captain Bibi, Za, and other. I think we can sum them up and give a very big answer, talk a lot about dynamic weather to cover up all their questions. What do you say?
Well, I've read all the questions, and basically, you're asking how it works and how much it's scripted or how much is basically simulated. And the overall idea is that we simulate it as much as possible. Like when you enter a single Grand Prix in every session, you can choose to have a fixed weather or a variable weather. If it's variable weather, you can ask the game to have fixed transition like from wet to dry or vice versa, or to have a purely random variation. Random means it could not rain at all, it could rain for all the time, or it could start raining, stop raining, or the opposite, and not all the time in a fixed moment during any sessions. Like you might have qualifications in one of the Q session with variable weather, one without, and all the possible combinations. This all happens when you have at least 25% of the race length to ensure there's a minimum time to give the weather time to evolve. But it's that it's simulated and not like happening in a given moment of the race or of the session. And what happens on the track is basically again simulated, like the tire temperature, the air temperature, the tarmac temperature, the grip you feel, how much the tires react to different situation. We basically simulate the parameters associated with that, and that's it. We let the AI and the race evolve. The AIs know how to handle the wet weather, the wet tarmac with also the slicks. Know how to handle a drying tarmac with the rain tires, and we let them do the thing. That's it. Things happen. They might be quite hectic sometime. There might be some unsurprising and obvious changes that you need to do, like it started raining, rush to the pits, or you might want to risk yourself. But it's not much scripted. It's during the career, if you enjoy this kind of things, they will happen. So enjoy it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think this will put some minds at ease because the scripted ghost was haunted most of or some of our user thought that maybe everything will happen on the third lap, or maybe everything will happen on the fifth lap, and then you said no, it's not like that.
No, it's not like that, and you might want to force in a quick race some specific changes, but you might let the game do the completely randomized thing and make it happen.
Please let me add a couple of things. We have dozens of combination of weather transition to recreate what Michele said 2 seconds ago. In the game, we can recreate what happens, for example, during the qualifying session in Termas de Rio Rondos this year, with the first qualifying session wet and the second dry, or the same in during Jerez, where the riders go faster in the first in Q1 and not in Q2. So the dynamic weather is really a complete dynamic weather. So you will see the transition starting from, for example, clear to cloudy, as Michele said, from wet to dry, and also the riders make choices starting from the wet condition of the track. So we are sure that you will enjoy the feature in every aspect.
Do you want to add anything?
There were
on
other
this?
questions relating with the regulations about Moto2, Moto3, red flags. Basically, they comply the reality, because in Moto2, Moto3 there is no flag to flag, and also we implemented the red flags, so the same rule on the historic trucks for regulation reasons, because there what happens is pretty fictional, because there are trucks that they're not in the championship anymore. And what happens with the tire is determined by your racing style, but basically how the compound works on that surface. But the more you slide, the less you slide, the more you're careful, the more you push, determines what happens with the tires. It is the same also on the proper condition, like slicks on dry tarmac, but it's more evident in some other situations, like you're on dry tarmac with the rain tires, and you have to be much more careful, for example.
You were talking about the red flag, and we use it, for example, for the Moto2 and Moto3 categories. If it starts rain after the second third of the race, if the race director decided to in lower category, the regulation tells that you have just one bike. So if it starts raining during the race director stop the race, and you will have a quick restart procedure with a short race to end the events. So I would like to make clear the regulation for the red flag.
It's always good to know something more. Now I will shift to Mixa question. He's asking, is there a huge difference with the soft, medium, hard for the long race?
Yeah, for sure. As the manufacturer of the tires brings specific tire for the tracks, we recreate the different compounds. So it's better to use a soft tire for qualifying session, for example, but also in tracks that where you can't find the temperature so high. So in our I was trying to make an example of starting from a track, but in Mugello, for example, where there is a temperature so high, it's better to use a compound, not soft, but medium hard or hard.
Yeah, I another example. Recently, I was racing in Catalonia, and they cannot stand with the soft tires, because in corner from 3, 4, you really burn the tires. So it's more about the tarmac temperature than the actual consumption, because what happens with the tire is driven by the temperature. So the more the heat, the more the consumption, the less you can feel the grip. So it's basically a choice depending about the temperature, the target temperature you have to keep.
Another important thing to say is it's simulated for the players, but also for the riders managed by the AI.
This is good. This is very good to know, because AI is another topic touched by our community. And they asked various things, but sticking on Mixad, this is his last question, so I can read it out loud. He's asking, or better, he asked, any plans on how riders' AI performance depends on different tracks conditions?
Yeah, we create a new system to manage this aspect of the game. For example, there will be riders that are stronger, for example, in sprint races. There are riders that are strong in wet condition, for example, Jack Miller, Brad Binder. Um, so we try to create a personality for each riders, and um, we we define favorite tracks, national tracks. For example, Italians will be stronger in Misano and in Mugello, and the same for a Spanish rider in Valencia, in Jerez, in Catalonia. So we work so hard to give a personality to the riders in the game.
Amazing thing to know, I am sure. Michele, do you want to add something about this? Or
Well, we modeled aggressiveness and speed separately, so you might have different behaviors also during the career. This is much interesting because it depends about the relationship you have with the rider. So some of them might be a little angry with you given the past races. So regardless the level of difficulty you choose, you might encourage some riders being better or worse on some tracks, some conditions, and depending on what you've done, if you hit them during the last races, if you've been aggressive in the answers you've given them on the social media. So I think our effort was to reconstruct a very lively and realistic set of riders, and I think this year we've accomplished something.
amazing, really, because well, I am a bit of a MotoGP player, but sure not as good as our fan base. If you don't have any more to say, and this is only a matter of time, because in a few minutes we have to close this Q&A, I will shift to the online part of the Q&A, and let's see which question I will read now. Alexito. Alexito asked how the ranks work. Is it bronze, silver, gold, or will be different levels in between?
Well, very easy. There's also Platinum 2 and Legend level. All the levels, including Platinum but not Legend, have three different sub levels. So there's plenty of granularity to fit into the different levels. And then there's Legend that's a unique level. So there's plenty of room to climb up.
That's it. We can add that this system help us to put players with the same level in the same match. So we want the players enjoy the new feature of LiveGP and explore it with fantastic races.
Okay, sticking to the multiplayer, I we can read now. Kenny, I suppose your nick goes by that, or K7 and NYY. Will there be flag to flag dynamic weather in multiplayer?
Yes, for sure. This is a topic we spoke about this also in the first Q&A. Dynamic weather is offline and online feature, so you will be able to recreate also flag to flag races with your friends.
Do crazy things, do wrong choices.
See, doing wrong choice.
Post on YouTube, do things. We want to see what crazy things you can imagine in the online with this.
So it's like share with us your best, your worst, your everything.
Yeah, your tank slappers and your crazy riding with the wrong situation, trying to be the hero of the day.
Or try to be the next Brad Binder that ride with soft tires in wet condition and win the race.
That's an idea. Now, we have a few questions. Then we can choose a question which is a mix from Mirko 81 and 81, sorry, and Captain Bibi. They're asking in MotoGP23, is dynamic weather also active in practice and qualifying? Basically, the question is this.
Oh, yes, it does. And as I was saying, with variable weather, it might happen in any moment during the weekend. And I repeat, not at the same time during all the sessions. So it might be at the very beginning, at the very end, it might not happen at all. So it's completely randomized according the idea. And also, some tracks have different probability of rain or sun or in between. So it's very realistic and hard to foresee what happens.
Nice thing to add to the list. Now, Bikers 7202. Is the bike more balanced this year?
We work so hard to recreate the potential of the manufacturer in the game. So in this moment we have a factory Ducati which recreates the maybe the best motorbike for the season. But we saw in the last GP KTM with fantastic results during the sprint race and the Sunday race. So uh, we try to recreate the main aspect for each manufacturer and put it in the game.
Very good. Do you want to add
Talking
something?
about the
Yeah.
actual physics, you have noticed that we've put more emphasis on some aspects, like when you exit the corner and you give gas, you have the bike pushing slightly, but in a way you can feel outside of the corner, and this leads to a slightly different riding style and more realistic, because the bike tends to have a trajectory on its own that you have to manage. So you feel like you're actually riding a rocket outside of the corner. This changes the balance. So in this part, like from the apex to the straight, so during the second part of the corner, the feeling is very different. And I think that we have refined the overall physics, so the braking is more intuitive and less punishing. Um, of course, depends much about how many helps you're adding or removing. But overall, even without helps, I think it's more stable and more intuitive to ride overall, and intentionally.
Okay, last question, and then I give you like 1 minute or so to say whatever you like and was not in these questions. If you want to add something about other topics or whatever you want. But the last question is: your recent preview video for online ranking system shows a gold rank for top riders. Will there also be an ELO or MMR system attached for players, or a more simple tier system of bronze, silver, and gold?
Michele has already answered to this question. We have five different levels: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and legend. And under this, the different tiers. So every rank is divided in bronze 3, bronze 2, bronze 2, and bronze 1. So there is a progression between the rank, but also a progression between a level to the other.
Okay, now let's call an all out. Michele said everything you like, one thing, and everything you like, you want to share, really. No restraints, and same goes to you, Stefano, after Michele.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that comes to my mind is that the idea that this time we have made a game that has a lot of connections. It's complex because the things you do, how you perform during the career, how you become the first rider of the team, the first rider of the brand, how you can trigger the interest of other riders positively or not. It's all connected. Your performance as influences, your reaction as influences, and there's a lot of things you can discover. The career is completely new, for example, and the way you can reach your goals, like you want to be into a factory Ducati, and how to get there, how to beat the world champion, is different this year. And at the same, you're on the track. Your goal is to win, to perform, but your mind has to pay attention to different topics that are very, very interesting. We are very proud of the connected universe we've made. Riders that change their mind, riders that perform better or worse in different situations, making choices, and you are among them, making your own choices, making your own goals, and you feel compelled to be into the MotoGP world. And that's something that we're very proud this year.
Last words, final words.
Final words. I want to speak about the career too. I just want to add a couple of keywords that are this career will be an emergent career. So the progression is based on the results made by the player, the rider. And the second thing is we try to recreate what real riders feel and live during the race weekends and during the season. So, as Michele said 1 second ago, if you need to obtain a new seat, if you has to beat your rival, you need to get these results on the track. And this will help the, the player to shape his own career in the game. So one of the main goal of this year is after 10 years of 10 hours of gameplay, sorry, we expect that players are living and feeling different things in the game. They have different rivals, different targets and objectives. The career is completely emergent and is based on your experience.
I think this is perfect. I can't wait to be on the track myself. Sorry, I was messing up with the microphone because Discord failed us multiple times. This is the end of our second, and as I said before, last Q&A. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us this second time. As usual, you will find the Q&A on YouTube in a few days. I will post here on Discord, so you can check it whenever you want. There will be a brief news that with the main topics touched in this Q&A, but you of course have to listen to it entirely if you want to know everything we said today. That said, thank you very much again.
Last thing,
something-
please, Alessandra,
whoa.
remember the release date of the game.
Sure, but I know the release date. Do you know the release date?
The 8th June 2023.
Now.
Just a couple of seconds before the Mugello weekend starts. So we have the release of the game, and after that, a huge weekend in Mugello. So let's see there or in lobbies.
I didn't catch you.
Did some
Gardens.
factory tool engage you for the Mugello race?
No, unfortunately, no.
Only in the game.
Okay, this was this was unexpected, but as I was, what I was saying? Oh yes, I was thank you our amazing community, but of course thank you to you, Michele, and thank you to you, Stefano. We will see everyone on the 8th of June on track.
On track.
That's okay. Thank you again, guys. Bye. You can leave the audio channel because the last time saw some people still in the channel.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.